All right, if you ever find yourself in a bind, especially for these trucks, so this happened to me recently, and I'm not too happy about it. But hey, it is what it is. But nonetheless, so I was, driving my truck, and one of the things I noticed, or actually, I wasn't even driving. It was actually my brother who was driving it, and he called me and said, "Hey, man, one of the lines busted, and it was leaking radiator fluid." So I was like, "Okay, just probably a hose or whatever. It's not a big deal." But after looking a little, when I got there, there's a whole bunch of fluid on the floor. And what it turned out to be was actually a line that goes to the transmission cooler. Oh, there you go. See on the, this one right here. Let's see, right there. Like there's like a plastic clip that holds it. And when I, obviously when it cooled down, when I took it off, and it was all like melted. So just giving you kind of like a heads up. And I'm not sure it's because I tow, with the gooseneck or whatever, but it kind of, it sucked because it ruptured and it dropped off fluid and it left my truck, stranded. So just, keep an eye on that. If that happens, the part was only like $5. You can get them at O'Reilly's or Home Depot, anywhere. But it's a cheap part, but nonetheless, it sucked because it was actually down for a while. So instead of calling a tow truck, we just pulled it, to the house. And then, once we got that fixed, I filled it up with radiator fluid. And then when I tried to put it in gear, turn on and whatnot, it didn't go into gear. It got stuck in fifth for some reason. And I was like, oh crap. So you know what? I was gonna take it to the dealership, but there's a lot of crap going on right now where they're gonna hold it and all that BS, that they try to tell you. But anyways, long story short, I basically tried to do it myself. And I resetted I don't know if I even resetted the computer or whatever, but I took off the batteries, or I took out the thermostat batteries, let it just drain out for 30 minutes, and I pulled it back in. It still didn't work. So I was like, crap, this sucks. So I thought I fried my transmission. So what I did was I just changed the oil, the transmission fluid, and mind you, it was pretty dark. So I was like, crap, and that wasn't the issue either. So luckily, what I did was I plugged in my tuner, or not a tuner. It's more of a let's see. This little scanner, I use this one, and it's a pretty good scanner. It reads well, whatnot. But anyways, when I plugged it in, there was a code that so there's three of them. There's like a stored, a pending, and a permanent. And when I clicked on pending, there was a P07 something code where it's supposedly the output sensor for the transmission. And I was like, okay, so maybe I'll give that a shot. So, but what I did was, I kind of just used a little bit of logic. It said pending, so I erased it. And lo and behold, once I erased it, it worked perfectly fine. It went into gear first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. I drove it around, checked the transmission fluid level, and it was all good. So, and I think what my theory is, and I may be wrong, I'm not a freaking diesel mechanic, is when we pulled it with the other truck, instead of disconnecting the drive shaft, which I technically you're supposed to do, but you know what, it was in a hurry. It had to be done. But I'm assuming when we pulled it, we had it in neutral the whole time, obviously, and the transmission was spinning because obviously the wheels were, turning. But I think it read that, it was in motion, so it threw that sensor off, I think. And then after a while, it just throws up a code and it locks you out of gear because it was reading the tire spinning, but it was neutral. So I guess the computer did something around there to kind of save it. So I mean, it's good that it did that, but at the same time, it kind of sucked because I thought it was Friday, and I was like, oh, screw that, it only has 50,000 miles. So but anyways, that was a problem. So if you do happen to have a for it gets stuck in gear or something like that, just give that a shot. Throw in your scanner tool. Go ahead and erase it. Now, if it's a part that it's obviously damaged, and replace that. But since it was I had no history of having the transmission having issues, so I just kind of went with it. But anyways, that's something to keep in mind. Like I said, keep that little it's like a quick connect plastic tool on handy, just in case it ever fries, because I do push my truck a lot. I tow kind of a lot. So but anyways, I did it was fixed. So guys, don't freak out if that happens. I've heard a lot, I read a lot online where it's like once it starts slipping, the solenoids are off and it's a whole different ball. But anyways, just just keep it calm. I know even despite what's going on, with your truck, and I know you spend a lot of money, but just just tinker with the easiest things. Don't go all out. We're buying a new transmission, buying new parts. Just start small and you work your way up. But it all turned out pretty well. So yeah, so just a race. So for me, it was just erasing the code. Once I erased the code, it was perfectly fine. Now it drives and shifts just as normal, and obviously since I changed the transmission fluid, it's a lot better. And for the transmission fluid, I know they recommended the Ford Mercon LV. Well, I used Valvoline synthetic, which says it's for Mercon LV, and that I mean, I'm not sure if it helps any, but I use it and it works perfectly fine. I already have about 1,000 miles on it, so I haven't had any issues. And in another I would say 20,000 miles, I'll drain it out, because I didn't do the full flush. It was just the just dropping the pan, and whatever came out came out. And one thing, yeah, that I might be doing also is putting a drain plug, because right now the transmission doesn't have anything. It's more like that. There's no drain plug, so it sucks. You have to pull it all off, drain it, and go from there. And I know back in the day, the prior models, I'm not sure if it was in 2018 or 2017, there was a drain plug, but not on these, so it kind of sucks. But hey, it is what it is. I'll just buy one of those little kits for like 10-15 bucks and put it on. Because if you do pull a lot, just be careful with these transmissions. I know they're good and whatever, but and be careful with your how hard you press the throttle, because honestly, these things are, the 250 in my opinion compared to the 350 or 450 does not have the, I wouldn't say strength necessarily, but the pull, not even the pulling power. It's more of how it reacts when there's a load. So it takes, taking off in this truck, you have to give it a little bit of time, and then taking off to a 350 or 450, it just pulls. There is no hesitation. This one, it has to like rev up a little bit for it to start turning. And I'm assuming it's from the gearing. It's not nothing different, but I'm assuming that's what it is. So, but anyways, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. If you guys have an issue, there's a fix. I just told you. Get yourself a good scanner tool. And I don't even think it has to be good. It just has to be like, I got that one off of Amazon for like, I think 80, 90 or $100, something like that. So invest in that, because now all these things are controlled by computer. And back in the day, obviously there was no computer. You can just kind of diagnose it yourself. But now, since it's that, it's a good thing and a bad thing. But in this case, it worked in my favor. But anyways, I just wanted to give you an update on that, and for that, I will see you on the next one.